When we're arguing with each other, we're not really reasoning or even listening to each other. We know what we believe, and we're just coming up with argument after argument to prove the other guy wrong. But we need to be talking about and practicing the principle of charity. When people say something, and this is what's disappeared from the classroom and from university, when people say something, you should assume good motives and read it in the most charitable way possible. And if we do that, we can actually talk to each other.
So the noise of democracy is playing itself out in full volume. Unfortunately, in my view, there's not enough people, as we look at the tactical side of this, who believe that it's important to find common ground, because it's becoming more and more of a test of those participating in this noise of democracy to stand your ground.
To me, the biggest bottom line problem is members being vilified for compromising, for even negotiating with the other side.
I myself would like to do away with the terms inclusivity and diversity, instead talk about pluralism, and that freedom of speech is actually a means to greater inclusivity, greater diversity. And if we respect pluralism, the idea that there can be a multiplicity of views and it's interesting to contend with them, we're going to be behaving in a way that's more conducive to having civil discourse in both our classrooms and in the country at large.
The point of a liberal education is not to hold up mirrors, it's to open windows. It's to make you see people who you have not seen before.
I'm a little skeptical about the value of having a distant and dispassionate stance. I don't even know if it's actually possible to get there, and that's something that you, Professor George, argue that it's a good thing to get there. So since you think that that's a valuable place to be, how do you know when you have reached that point of a healthy distance versus the illusion of having a distance?
Beautiful question. Beautiful. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. And guess what the answer is, at least as far as I can tell?
Yes.
You never know for sure. You just don't. You honestly can't know for sure, which means it's a constant process of self-criticism, of introspection, of examining oneself and one's own attitude.
When me and Brother Robby engage in dialogue, I'm in contact with his humanity. I'm trying to keep track of the evidence that he adduces in his arguments. I'm trying to get a sense of what his vision is. I'm trying to get a sense of what traditions he situates and locates himself, so that I can use my imagination to be empathetic in what is coming from his mouth, and then trying to show I'm still not thoroughly convinced. That's all right.
It's important for us as citizens to love truth more than we love our own opinions. To want the truth, even if it means being forced to change our minds or yield some ground to people on the other side who actually have something to say. You can't get at the truth. You just can't if you are unwilling to expose your beliefs, your ideas, your arguments to criticism.